Welcome back to Books with Duddy. Today we are doing our spoiler-filled discussion of The Fourth Wing, where I kind of talk about what I thought about the story, going into the twists and a little bit more into the characters I liked, didn't like, why, and all of that. So if you've read the book, feel free to stick around and let me know what you think in the comments. If you have not read the book and you are planning on it, go ahead and check out my video linked for the spoiler-free review. Otherwise, let's get started with our discussion. Okay, talking about spoilers. First thing is the dragons were freaking badass. I love the dragons. And probably one of my favorite parts of the book is just how the dragons communicate with their riders. In the sense that, like, I don't know how you say her name, Taryn or Tarn, I'm not sure. And Darna, I believe. The way that they could, just the way that them and Violet could communicate telepathically. I just thought it led to like some funny moments, and it just had me chuckling a lot. The way that I guess Violet's relationship with her dragons, I really enjoyed that a lot. But one thing that I don't want to say bothered me, but just with Violet's dragon's personalities, I know, like, I'm gonna say Tarn, so you can eviscerate me in the comments if I'm wrong. I know he was like willing to kill, but definitely never Violet. And one of the things in the book that says is like dragons are willing to kill their bounded riders if they figure out they aren't worthy. And that was just, I don't know, after meeting Tarn and Darna, it was a little bit harder to believe, even though we saw it happen. But, it could just be the dragons that Violet got. So moving on to kind of Dane and his betrayal, by looking into Violet's memories. I think, like, you could kind of feel that coming throughout the entire book, which I thought the author did a good job of. You could just feel that distance growing between Violet and Dane, which was kind of sad to see, but at the same time, like, Dane was kind of a douche. So, like, not saying he's like a bad guy necessarily, but I just could see why, Violet grew away from him. And then on to Xaden, who, I really like Xaden's character. He was obviously a badass. And, I was saying I didn't really like the romance aspect, but I don't mind romance. It was just a little bit much for me. And, I like Violet and Xaden together. I think they go well together. He doesn't baby her, which she likes and I liked. I mean, he protects her. Liam's death was really sad. That was probably the death that I was most sad about in the book. But anyways, it's in a different way than Dane does. Or did, I guess. And I like Mira a lot too, her sister. The one thing that I didn't understand a little bit was at the very end of the book, which I'll touch more on this in a second, but we figure out Brennan is alive and Xaden knows him. Or at least appears to know him. Maybe that's something in the next book that we figure out, that it's the first time Xaden ever met Brennan. But if they didn't know each other, it's kind of weird to me that Xaden would have hated Violet at the beginning of the book. Because if he knows Brennan and he's a Sorrengail, then Xaden knows that not all Sorrengails are, bad or on the wrong side of this war. So I don't understand why Xaden would have had it out for Violet, even though that quickly changed, if he already knew Brennan. But again, maybe that's something that comes out in the next book, that it was the first time they were meeting Brennan. But the kind of the twist and the rebellion, and I mean, I had no doubt that, whatever Xaden was doing was not a bad thing, I guess. You could just kind of feel that. So when the whole rebellion thing came out, that wasn't a surprise to me. And look at, like, the truth of the world, that really wasn't a big surprise. And I also had no doubt that someone in Violet's family was already involved with that. Whether it be her mother, her sister. I thought it would be Mira, honestly. Even though she was treating Xaden very badly, I thought maybe that was just a smokescreen. Because Mira seems like, the type of person that would be on their side. And I thought maybe Brennan had been on their side. And that it would come out that he had died, fighting for the rebellion side. I definitely did not expect Brennan to be alive. So when he showed up, that was a really surprising thing to me. And that was I was like, damn! That made me want to read the next book. So the ending, I thought was awesome. Nice cliffhanger. And still some, still like a satisfactory ending. Like it wraps some stuff up, but obviously keeps you wanting more with kind of what happened there. So, like I said, in my original rating, I gave it a 6.8. I think so much romance for me, it could have been higher, but I definitely am glad I read the book. I'm undecided if I'm going to read the next one, because there's so many great books out there, but if people are interested in hearing my thoughts on the next one, I will read it. But if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, if you could like and subscribe, I would appreciate that. Otherwise, I will be back, and I hope to see you soon.